Happens. I think my internet is possibly being a bitch tonight. I think that's what's going on. I do. I believe wholly that that's what's fucking going on. Internet's being a bitch. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck hour and none of that shit yet. So even if you guys wanted to fucking donate to me, it ain't gonna happen. Alright, well this is working. I'm gonna wait. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm telling you, man. If I had enough subscribers, no shit, if I had enough subscribers, I would create a goddamn Patreon or some shit. I'm sorry, this is what's taking me a second. For anybody else might be watching. Because, I mean, I'm working, but bills are shit. Like, I have no PayPal either, right? I done made some way in case some random goddamn motherfucker wanted to donate it. Oh, goddamn it. Tell me if it goes out, J-Spot, because I'm getting internet, like messages on my fucking PlayStation. Like, I talk to you guys all goddamn night. I'm cool with that. Alright, I'm going to throw out this to you and let you decide. Should I go to another planet or should I continue looking for fauna on this one? But yeah, I thought about making either a Patreon or I don't know. I need to start out, I guess, with just a fucking PayPal account so I can have it. That way, if anybody actually did want to fucking, like, however many people actually pay attention to whatever the hell I do, decided they wanted to donate money to me to help with this, then that helped too. But I honestly have no idea what to do. Fauna. Look for fauna. Alright, cool. We'll look for fauna. Why the hell is that nanite thing? Oh, come on. God damn it. Alright, I'll get out. I'll get out. I'll get out. Their way out. Easy. Get out. Woo! Over the trees, motherfucker. A couple white dots, baby. I already got them. There's a white dot that direction. By that tree right there. That tree. That tree, there's fauna in that direction. Let you go, car. God damn you. That tree, going that direction to that tree. Woo! Alright, good. Holy shit. Hell, there's probably cave fauna too, and I'm just fucking passing them up. Let's see, let's get, alright. Look for that fauna again. Still in front of me. Fuck, I got a goddamn message from... Holy shit, I got a message from Cobra. What's up? Thanks, man. I'm just replying to CobraTV, man. I'm not going to tell you what I said either, because that will defeat our purpose. What do you think about the current state of the U.S.-Russian relations? Probably, I'm just going to say we're fucked, because Russia and China be fucking each other in the asshole, and if we go against Russia and China, that's the only time the United States might have something to worry about, because they're too damn fucking stupid to have a standing military as big as Russia and China combined. Like the only... Oh my god! Hang on, I gotta get this creature. God damn it. Scan, you little bastard. Alright, good. I got it. There's more. Holy shit! Alright, I got you. Got you. How the fuck did I get you? I don't remember you. But nonetheless, Russia and China, I don't consider it scary, man. I've never been in the military. I did indeed try to join the military, but I'm going to be honest. In today's day and time, I almost think that they should force people, like a requirement, to spend 1 year in military service during high school. And I'll tell you why. I mean, it sounds crazy. I don't think they should do like service, like send them to fucking war or nothing within that year. But I truly believe if you were born a U.S. citizen at an early stage in your life during school, preferably while you're in high school, they should send students to basic training, because if we go to war against China and Russia, that's the only time that us as like the United States could possibly have a lot of trouble in war. And I'm not going to go as far as to say we'll lose, because we got a lot of fucked up weapons, and they got a lot of fucked up weapons too. That's the catch. We won't lose as the United States. But if it came to the point where the United States thought they were going to lose, along with Russia and along with China, the whole world would be fucked up. What's up, Joe Bob? Joe Bob, what's up, man? We're talking conspiracies, and I'm looking for random fauna on this badass planet that's cold as shit. Fauna. I need a dot. Give me a dot. Damn it, I don't see a dot. Stop fucking... Ugh. I liked it better when I had to actually look at something to scan it. Oh, scan things fucked up. But nonetheless, I seriously believe that every United States born citizen should go through, well, any citizen, even if you're not born. If you get your citizenship, you should go through a version of basic military training. And the only reason I say that is because the world is in crazy shape. And if we want to maintain that, and we go to war, we don't have a standing army that can even compare to China as far as a standing army goes. Let alone if we went against China and Russia in a modern warfare combat. And the last thing we want, or the whole fucking world wants, or even needs, is a nuclear war. Dude, if we have nuclear war, the world's over. The world's over. Everything we know, everything we love and hold dear is over. Whether we want it or not. Mutual destruction. fucking vodka too, man. Like, I'm patriotic. I'm fucking red, white, and blue blood. But if it come to a world war and we were getting ready to use nukes, I would do every fucking thing in my personal power to say no. And I don't want another fucking country. I don't want Russia, especially I don't want fucking China to take over the fucking U.S. and win this shit. But I do not want nukes. And I mean, trust me, I'm cool with fucking world domination and destruction all damn day long. But it's something that, like, when you really think about it, that's the one thing that we don't need. How many... So what does that mean? I got 5 more species. 6 of 11. 6. Yep, 5 more species to unlock. Let's fly over the planet's surface a little while. No Man's Sky next. Oh Lord. Well, oh God. Be honest, man. I've grown to the point where I don't even want to speculate. I want, like, there's so much shit that I didn't expect with Atlas Rises that appeared. The only thing I know is it's going to be amazing. Period. It's going to be amazing. It's bigger than all the updates we've got, and I don't even know where to begin with it. I really don't. Like, I can speculate all fucking day long, and I can tell you my opinion, but I don't want it to be taken as stone. By the way, Joe Bob, subscribe, man. If you don't care, I love you to death. Subscribe to me. And visit CobraTV, man. He's a good fella. But, let's see. Give me more specifics, because if you want to say just like subscribe, or fuck, subscribe. Jesus fucking Christ. Do you hear me now? I'm going to space because I want to go a little bit farther away from where I'm at on the same planet. But give me a like specific, because you want me to talk about next. I can speculate. I can speculate for 3 days and probably still not got everything. All right. We get a nuclear war that'll cause India and Pakistan to fire their... No. That's the catch. Nuclear war is the end of all wars. It's the end of everything. During the Cold War, we had this thing called mutual destruction. And what mutual destruction was, if you're not aware, is if one nuclear warhead was fired from any place in the entire planet, every nuclear warhead is fired. Like, if one shoots off and is going to hit the ground, they all shoot off and hit the ground. From every country that has nuclear warheads. Which, in a way, is a smart plan. I mean, it sounds bad, because, I mean, we don't want the fucking world to be destroyed. but that gives all these countries incentive to not use nuclear warfare. Now, I don't believe, I like to tell myself, I don't believe World War III will be nuclear warfare. I like to tell myself that World War III, and this is, I really don't know, I mean, which is worse, really, but I feel as if World War III, a lot, I'll say it one more time, a lot of people will die, but it won't be nuclear warfare. It will be a war equivalent to the Normandy invasion of Germany. As an entire war. You'll have drafts out of the asshole, and a lot of people will die. A lot of living people will die. And I seriously believe that World War III will be that, because the leaders of these nations, they're not that fucking stupid. North Korea, he might fucking launch a nuclear bomb, but even if he tried, with what they've got, we'd blow them out of the water, and if we wanted to, we'd turn them to dust. No, it's not over. No, we're at a singularity in warfare. It's either millions of people die or everybody dies. That is where we are at with world wars. With a world war, that's where we're at. We're either at millions of people die or everybody dies. Period. There's no in between to that. There's no world war. There's no way there could be a world war where some people died and some people lived, unless it was just a draft.
Extreme night temperature detected.
Well, the World War II warfare is not over. It's not over. It's going on right now. That's what's going on in Iraq. That's what's going on in Syria. That's what went on in Iraq and Syria right now. Africa, fucking Somalia. It's a scary fucking place out there away from us. It's still going on right now. There are people dying every fucking day. The catch is, I'm telling you, there's only two choices to war. It was urban, but that's the catch. That's what you're not grasping at. You got to realize, if a world war happens, a world war in modern day. Now, let me find a good view for this, because I got to explain this in the best sense I can. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Alright, I got to explain this in the best sense. If a world war was to happen tomorrow, it will happen one of two ways. Either China, Russia, and the United States will draft every fucking person they can to go fight on God knows what land. You gotta remember, man, if a true world war happened, dude, they could take Florida from us in 2 hours. All they'd have to do is storm the beaches on every fucking side, and Florida from the north down would be gone. There's no way we could save it. Coast Guard is going to shoot their guns and get killed. Panda Poopy, we are talking conspiracy. I'm locked on a screen on No Man's Sky. I'm going to piss while I'm talking about this. But you got to remember, if a world war happened right now, the three main countries, you don't worry about North Korea. North Korea has technology. They have enough they can really seriously fuck South Korea up. China? No, hell no. People want to say because they're on the Chinese border they can fuck China up, but come on. China has come on, half of the fucking weaponry that we have from China, or that we have as a military, came from China. It was built in China. I mean, go to Walmart and tell me what wasn't built in China or Taiwan. If we got to a real world war, it would be between three countries. The United States, Russia, and China. And right now, Russia and China are on the same side. China has a standing army. Are you aware what a standing army is? A standing army is the amount of human beings they have compared to the amount of human beings another army has. I'm back, by the way, in front of the camera. And China themselves has like double or triple. Pakistan and India, no. Dude, they're puppet nations. They are puppet nations controlled by the same people that control us. Iran is better of an indicator than India. Trust me, man. The last thing, I'm not going to get involved with the politics on all of it, because it's something that it can change every second. It can change right now. Well, you got to remember, this falls back to mutual destruction. You got to remember, dude, we're living in the most technologically advanced times humankind has ever known. I mean, dude, I'm sitting here on a fucking planet. A whole fucking planet. I can fly into space and look at it and be like, what the hell's going on? People don't realize this. If I'm able to do this shit on a PlayStation and talk to you at the same fucking time, what's to stop governments from technology that we don't know about? I'm sure we do, but they're not going to tell us about it. What's to stop the governments of the world from putting some shit up in fucking space, even though there's a treaty against it? What's stopping them from putting some shit up in space and saying it's a research satellite? All they gotta do is push a button. We're all dead. Nuclear war is a possibility. Nuclear war is a possibility, but I don't believe it will happen. They don't want the people that control the world do not want the world to be destroyed. They want the world manipulated into what they want it to be manipulated. To go to war. No. No. That's the catch. If the treaty is broken, that's the catch. If one warhead goes off, they all go off. No. Dude, if they set off a certain amount of nuclear warheads at one time, it don't matter where they're at. It don't matter where they're at. If a certain amount of nuclear warheads is set off, the whole world's dead. Like we are legitimately gone. Like me and you sitting here right now, they could be on the opposite side of the fucking planet. If they set the right amount off, we're dead. Dude, the United States alone has enough nuclear power to crack the fucking planet in half. Literally, I ripped the motherfucker in half. The radiation, that's what happens in the end. I mean, we don't even need the. I'm telling you. You got to remember too, the presidents, the leaders of the world, the leaders of the countries around the world, they're not dumb people. They know what would happen if nuclear war began. But our planet itself is overpopulated. You can look that up right now. Overpopulation compared to food supply, compared to the resources on planet Earth that we have. It's like, come on, man, we went to the fucking moon in the 60s, 70s, and we can't even get back there now for reasons I'm not going to talk about. It ain't about whether you can get. I mean, population control is the main goal. If a world war breaks out, I swear they're not going to use nukes. If they use nukes, I'll be surprised and we'll all be dead. I'll be lucky to be here and fucking post some shit to you. I believe that all of the major standing armies of the world, these little side countries, it don't matter if they have nukes or not, Iran and all that shit, they don't have a standing army, they don't have the fucking military power. We give them their military power. We literally do. Like, we sell them fucking helicopters and missiles and fucking anti-aircraft weapons and all this shit. We sell it to them. We sell it to the whole goddamn world, except Russia and China. A world war between Russia, China, and the United States is the end of the world. And it will either happen fast or everybody on the goddamn planet dies. Or it will happen slow, where they just forcibly recruit everybody and then just kill everybody. Or they invade them, or we invade them. They invade us, we invade them. No. J Spot. J Spot, have you ever heard of a nuclear weapon called Satan II? Well, I'm Panda Poopy, I'm not going to say they won't go to war. Welcome to the chat, by the way. But that will be the end of all wars. It would. It would be the end of all wars. It would either end in nuclear destruction or millions of people getting killed. One of the two. That's the one war that we do not want to see as human beings on the face of this earth. I would rather see fucking aliens come down out of space and say, we're going to fuck you up, than go to war against Russia and China and the United States. Like, rather they go against each other or not. That's all I can. It's the one war that we do not want to see, which is inevitable. I'm not going to say it will happen eventually in the future. We have two scenarios in that too. It will either happen or the world will unite in a one world government. You know, the whole New World Order. There's no way around it. I mean, I'm no fan of the fucking New World Order. Fuck the Illuminati and all the people involved. But it will happen. We are a fucking planet. I don't give a shit if we're flat or not. But it will happen. Panda Poopy, I love you to death. Speak yourself, fool.
What's going on, dude? No, I just wanted to talk about Russia and China and America for a second.
No, that's the whole conversation, man. I'm in the middle of that right now. Throw your opinion out there, and I'll hit you on my own.
Okay, so let's say that there is some sort of like a global conspiracy, right? Here's how this would break down in my mind. So this is the world as I see it. So you have the financial institutions, the main banks of the world that control society through debt, right? The more debt, right? The more debt that they can have people own, the more they own the people. Not only are people in debt, but countries are in debt.
Yep.
So banks essentially run things through the acquisition of debt, right? So that's how. So people being in debt is how they run things. Not only that, but you have, like, let's say, for example, NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement.
Yeah.
So what NAFTA does is that NAFTA essentially allows free trade between the American continent and all the countries that are in between there, accepting each other's currency and exchange rates and all that kind of stuff. You then have the European Union, which does the same thing in Europe. Russia and China want to start their own called BRIC, the BRIC nations. So what would be the point of having such a diverse world that then gets reduced to three main financial sectors?
Well,
NAFTA, BRIC, the EU.
That's the catch.
My theory is that
right before you throw your theory out, I'll just put this out there for you to interpret with your theory. Are we not already in that system and people do not understand it?
No, we're totally in that system. So that's why I don't think that America, China, and Russia will ever go to war, because the banks need America, most of the major European countries, and Russia and China to maintain a certain level of stability with each other, so that they can essentially, you've heard of the one world government theory,
take
right?
over the world. So they can take over the world.
They have to do it in stages. They have to reduce the population through warfare, weaken independent nations through warfare, and control society through debt.
That's the scary part, though, isn't it? I mean, we've gotten to the point where, like Russia and China's on one side, and I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not going to deny it, but nonetheless, we are on another side, and the conversation that we've been holding tonight is all about whether or not nuclear war would destroy the world. Of course it would. The whole planet as a whole doesn't need to see nuclear war. And you're not wrong in any shape, form, or fashion. You're right, and I agree with you. But I seriously believe that if a World War III happens, it would be one of two ways. It would either be millions of people would die, and some would survive to a one world government, or everybody would die. It's one of the two.
Right. Well, I'm just saying from like the standpoint of like a theory, not necessarily that I believe that to be the case, but that's how I would imagine that it would work out. That
Yeah.
sorry.
No, go ahead,
feeling
man.
sick.
Dude,
But
I'd be
the
vomiting
groundwork-
over camera, so you're good.
Dang. Well, the groundwork for sort of the global elite control and all that stuff is already in place.
Oh yeah, been there for years.
You know, so I don't necessarily think it's happening, but if they wanted to, it would seem as though it's already structured, you know, for them to do it.
Well,
I'm not a Trump supporter. I think that he throws a wrench in the whole thing. I think that he is a what do you call it? He's a glitch in the system. I don't think that he was supposed to happen. I don't think he knew that he was going to win.
Well, you're right. I agree with that 100%. Yeah, the catch is, I almost feel like that. You know how you said he wasn't supposed to happen. I believe he wasn't supposed to happen. 100%.
He wasn't.
No, but I also at the same time believe he did, and that glitch in the system that you talk about is leading in this road. I mean, it's not something that's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not one of those people that's saying like, you better fucking be ready for tomorrow, the world's going to fucking end. But at the same time, when you look at it in the long run, I don't think about it as one government or this government or this government. I try to think of it as a whole anymore. Just because it's going to happen eventually, whether we like it or not. And there's no way, with all of the people that's out there and the beliefs that they believe, there's no way the whole damn world's going to come to peace. If they all went to Christian, they're all going to be Muslims fighting each other. If they all went to Muslims, it's going to be Christians fighting each other. It's going to be vice versa. Religion is the biggest tool that they've ever had in the history of mankind of control. But at the same time, it is the biggest demise for any government that they've ever imagined. I mean, it literally tore the world apart. And
more than religion, I think it's education.
Yes,
I think education with regard to religion, because the religion predates. You know, it goes. Huh?
No, I'm just wanting to apologize for everybody in the stream. Yes, I understand there's a bunch of trees, but you're here for this. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just going to say So the religion goes back thousands of years. There's always been different religions throughout the world that have always caused conflict.
Yep.
The issue is that people aren't educated. For example, Christians, they have
Easter and Christmas.
My family is. I was born into a Roman Catholic family. My family is Christian. Mm-hmm. My wife's family they're from Bosnia. Her family, they're Muslim. So I have knowledge of their religion through their text.
You had a rough one
to try to get
growing up anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of weird, but what's funny is that there's not really a whole lot of difference between Islam and Christianity in terms of the belief of the deity and the
right.
messenger.
You're right, man.
You know, for example, they believe in Jesus. They don't believe that he is the Son of God. So there's a few key differences, but they believe that Jesus was a messenger of God. They believe in all these different things, right?
Yep.
There's a lot more similarities between the religions than there is differences.
Oh no,
It's the fact that people aren't educated on the similarities. They only focus on the differences, and that's what they want you to focus on. That's what causes the problem.
Exactly.
They want you to fear the other or think that somebody's different.
I've always thought of it in two ways. Religion, regardless of where you're coming from. I don't care if you're wanting to think about the 20 fucking Viking gods, if you want to be a Catholic, if you even want to be a Mormon, which I'm not going to get into Mormonism. If you want to be a Southern Baptist, if you want to be a Catholic, if if you want to be Church of God, it doesn't matter. They all tell generally the same story of the same general deity, but they want to argue over whose name is correct, or whose story is right. It's like, hey man, I saw this God come down and he did this. Well, oh yeah? Well, my God did the same thing, but my God is this name. No. My God is this name, and I'm trying to make a point as far as that goes. They all tell the same story, but it's different. Like, I have no problem with religion. I don't. To each his own. I seriously, myself, as far as religion itself goes, I believe something happens. And us as humans, based on where we were, or what we were, or even if we fucking existed in the first place, the beginning, I don't know if it was evolution. I don't know. I don't know if we just fucking crawled out of the ground. Nonetheless, something happened, and us as a species at that specific time described it the way that we saw it, depending on where we were. And
right.
People don't want to grasp that. They want to say, no, hell no. It was Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior. It was God. No, it was Allah. No, it was Buddha. By God, that motherfucker, he crossed his legs and he floated up into heaven. I'm not saying that didn't happen. I mean, hell, as far as I know, I mean, God may have come down and fucking, the Christian God may have come down and floated some Chinese guy up into heaven, or aliens may have come down and floated some, like, French guy up into heaven, and everybody thought it was something else. I don't know. I wasn't there.
I don't think any of it happened. It's all based on ancient Sumerian and Egyptian sun gods.
Yeah, I agree with you.
For example,
something happened.
Let's take,
I'm not saying it was God. I'm not saying it was God or
any Greek mythology.
Yeah. Oh,
you
God.
had Zeus. Zeus came down and he impregnated an earth woman who gave birth to Hercules, who performed heroic deeds.
Exactly. Yep.
God, came into Mary's body, and Jesus was born. Depending on what Christian faith you believe in, either Jesus is God or he's the Son of God. Either way, that whole thing happened, and then he performed miracles.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's all these stories of resurrections that they're all the same thing. I don't think any of it happened.
I don't believe any of it happened like that either. Yeah, it's
all
a
these
book.
Books are all written by men. And I don't trust men. And
exactly, man, dude, you're hitting me on the damn shoulder. You're so right in so many fucking levels. The only catch that I can't help but grasp, and I'm not saying any shape, form, or fashion of God, all I know is something happened. Whether it had been a fucking God, whether it had been fucking aliens, whether we fucking crawled out of a goddamn swimming pool. I don't know.
Whether we're in a simulation, who knows?
We're in a simulation. Who knows? That's the catch. I don't know. I preach the religion of I don't know. All I know for a fact is something happened. And the only reason I say that something happened, whether it was a fucking God, an alien, a simulation, or fucking my cat sitting over here pissing on my cat. God damn it, quit it, kitty, quit it. Nonetheless, all I know is something happened. Something. God knows what it is, and I'm just saying God knows what it is because, well, nonetheless, something happened. I don't know what it is, but I'm aware enough to know that something happened, and our ancestors aren't fucking stupid. I mean, if an ancient Egyptian that just built the fucking pyramid we can't even build today saw a fucking F-16 fly over, that is a god with wings. So, I mean, I don't know. Did that happen? I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm right here. I'm sitting in this fucking chair right now.
I do find it interesting that throughout human civilization and evolution that we've always viewed the gods as being in the heavens. We've always had a fascination with outer space and things above Earth. I've always found that interesting. But my whole thing about the religion thing is this. This for me prevents my mind from understanding it. You have a being who apparently created the world in 6 days, rested on the 7th, because I suppose he got tired.
Goddamn, he's a
Okay,
beast.
created everything in that time. During that time, he created dinosaurs apparently and all these other things that existed before man, but then men show up later down the road. So men do all these sins. So God tries to prove that to man that he is there, so he sends his only son, or himself, depending on which version of the Christian religion you're a part of,
Even created
to go down
fake
there
skeletons.
to sacrifice himself for the sins of man and save our souls and all these different things, right?
Yeah.
So he does that by having Jesus commit these miracles so that the Romans could kill him, crucify him, so that they then stick him in a cave where he resurrects 3 days later. All the people that wrote books about him, the New Testament and all that, came well after the resurrection, right?
Oh yeah, all the books in the
It's
Bible.
all word of mouth stories
Yeah.
that were written in Hebrew. Most people back then, and just to finish the point, most people back then were illiterate. They couldn't read. That's why you need preachers. That's where that whole thing came from.
Wasn't most of the books of the Bible anyway? Weren't they actually written down for the first time in any shape, form, or fashion of text? Weren't they actually written down close to like more than 100 years after whatever event actually happened?
Something like that. They weren't first-hand accounts.
Yeah, it was all word down the mouth.
Right. And then to make it even worse, it was written in a language that the people that spoke that language most of them couldn't read.
Yeah.
The people that could read the language and interpret the language preached it to them so that they could understand. That's where the whole preaching thing comes from.
Yeah.
I believe prophesizing thing comes from.
I believe the Epic of Gilgamesh just as much as I believe the Bible.
Don't you think that there for a being that created the world in 6 days, don't you think that he would have had a better method of convincing people that he existed? I mean, if you're being honest with yourself, wouldn't there have been a much more effective and easier way? Christianity didn't become the dominant religion in the world for like 2,000 years or something. It took all that time to catch on and spread.
You know what the catch is to that? Like, I seriously believe that religion is literally humanity's first form of government. That's all it is. Like, nowadays you have atheists that go totally against every form of religion there is. And I don't consider myself an atheist because, like I said, I believe something happened. I don't believe it was God. I don't believe it was Buddha. I don't believe it was none of that shit. Because, like you said, humans make up some fucking crazy stuff. But something happened, and I don't know what it was. Whether it was God, whether it was aliens, whether it was a simulation, or whether we crawled out of a goddamn swimming pool. Something happened. And that's all I know is something happened or we wouldn't be here. Regardless of what that something might be. But at the same time,
human beings,
it's the first form of religion. Or first form of government. It's telling people that you're either going to do
how to live
this, or you're going to have a horrible and fucking painful time when you die, and that's the only thing we have to force upon you to say, hey, when you die, you're going to go off into some peaceful land. Well, it don't matter what the fuck you do while you're alive. So, let's tell them, hey, if you do this while you're alive, this will happen to you. All I know is I don't know. And
we also didn't understand the world that we lived in, so we had to create ways to be able to understand the natural world.
Yeah.
That's the scary part about religion is that it's very much dependent on faith, not evidence. You have to have faith that it's true.
But so is
there was a period of time.
So is
where,
government nowadays.
For a long time. Yeah, well,
that's government
true.
nowadays.
You have to have faith that everything's just going to
Faith,
work.
yeah.
But like, let's take science. There was a period of time for hundreds of years where people believed that the Earth was flat.
And they do it now.
That if you sail to the edge, that you would just fall off.
Yeah.
And then they believed that the Earth was the center of the solar system or the universe, and we proved everything wrong. We showed that it wasn't. The sun was at the center. That the Earth is round.
And
we proved all these things.
And we proved that throughout all of history, throughout science, and we even proved the conversation of religion when we go back to these people nowadays claiming that the Earth is flat again.
Well, it's because it goes back to their distrust or with what they're being told by the government or scientists or something that conflicts with their long-held views anyway.
The goes
problem
almost along
is
with
that when it comes to religion, so with science, when something is proven wrong and you reach consensus, your belief changes to where the new evidence goes. Your belief is always with where the science is. And if the science changes, your belief changes with it, which is the way that things should be. We thought the Earth was flat until we found out that it wasn't. Now we believe that it's round.
Now it's flat again.
The problem with religion, it's the willful suspension of objective thought. Because now we're saying, okay, well, the Earth is flat. Well, no, it's not. It's round. Well, no, it's flat. Well, we sent a spaceship into space and we saw that it was round. Well, that was fake. Well, we went to the moon and we have a picture of it. Well, that was shot in the Hollywood studio. So now you're using everything around you and all your distrust and paranoia to prove that the Earth is flat, when all of the objective science and observational science proves that it's round. I believe, and that's what's scary about religion specifically, is that you are purposely denying evidence in exchange for belief.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Fucking scares me.
Dude, man, I fall back on the exact same thing that you're saying right now. But even at the same time, like with all these people want to talk about flat Earth and all this stuff, I believe that some of them are coming from the same stance of my general belief of they just don't know. They ain't been up there to see it. And I understand that belief, but why? I mean, they're doing what you're saying. They're claiming that they're going by a general stance of I haven't been there, and then picking a side and going for it. And that is the mistake, the same mistake of picking a religion or anything of the source. Like, I want to live my life in a sense of entertain all forms of human thought, but accept none. Like, I'm more than willing to hear every damn person's opinion, but I will not accept any of it. I don't give a shit. Is the Earth flat? Is the Earth round? Are we like on a fucking petri dish? Or are we just out here in the middle of fucking nowhere? You know what? I'm not going to say either way, because I don't know. I'm sitting here in a goddamn trailer in the middle of fucking Kentucky. You really think I've been up there to look and find out and come back and tell you? Hell no, I've saw some shit on YouTube.
But there are people that do know, and,
exactly,
and they can prove it. And you know, it's kind of like when it comes to global warming.
Yes,
there's a lot of people out there who believe it's a hoax. Well, it's definitely not a hoax.
No, even geoengineering, man. I mean, they want to talk about chemtrails, and then the same people that want to talk about chemtrails claim that global warming is a hoax. Well, if you did any research on geoengineering, you'd realize that they were doing this shit to try to fucking save you. But nonetheless, at the same time, how do you know any of it's correct? It's, like, geoengineering's a real shit. They really do fucking spray shit up there for, like, climate change on the planet. It's our goddamn fault they do it. Is it giving us cancer? I don't know. I haven't done enough research into chemicals outside of what people want me to research to find out for sure. Nonetheless, the shit's really happening.
The geoengineering, I would say, so some of the things that they're doing and testing are ways of introducing harmless to humans, at least in theory, chemicals into the atmosphere that can reduce the amount of carbon gas that hangs around up there. Now, there's a video on YouTube that you can find where the guy from Top Gear is standing outside of
the giant cloud machine by NASA.
Right. There's an actual video of it where they can produce a rain cloud on
demand. Yep. Right over top of him, man. It like starts raining over him, and he don't even know what to believe. Dude, this shit's been around for years. They followed the rain cloud. Yeah. There's, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of crazy shit that they can do now. Dude. They've been able to do this shit for years. And that's why I tell people is like I've only seen what the fuck I've seen in real life. Everything else is a fucking video or something I've read. So I doubt nothing, I accept nothing, but I'm willing to hear everything. And I've heard enough to know what the fuck's stupid, but at the same time, I've heard enough to know what could be real. I've saw the fucking NASA cloud machine as far as video goes. And I've even had people, I've showed this video to people. And for instance, a person that I work with, I showed them the video and their response was, no, he's standing in front of a green screen and that was CG behind him. They just built a building and sprayed all that fake smoke out. It's like, dude.
Right.
I mean, you can look up the patent numbers for this stuff if you really want to. It's not hard. It's out there. If you just type in cloud machine on Google, Google's going to send you to every link in the world to try to talk you into believing that it doesn't even exist, even though it's right there and it's public information.
You want to know something really weird? This is a true story. So speaking of YouTube, so I went down the YouTube rabbit hole a few months back and just started watching videos about extraterrestrial and aliens and Area 51 and all this kind of stuff, and I was playing all these videos like back to back, just kind of diving down that rabbit hole.
Did you find
and
one
then all of a sudden, I get that thing that pops up that says you can't watch this video.
Yeah.
And then every video that I would click on that had to do with aliens, Area 51, government conspiracies, anything, were blocked. If I clicked on a video that wasn't that, it would play. But everything to do with that, I could not, that YouTube would no longer play it.
Yep.
It was like they were telling me I've had enough conspiracy for a night or something. It was like I had watched enough, and it just wouldn't play. The message that popped up was something went wrong. You ever see that on YouTube? Something went wrong. So,
constantly, you'll hit the refresh button 100 times, and then at 1 o'clock in the morning, not 12 o'clock, but around 1 o'clock, then it'll just work.
But what was funny is that every video that was doing that were any videos related to that subject matter. Everything else would play.
Yeah, if you went to watch Fortnite, by God, it'd play all day and all night long.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That to me is so weird.
Yeah.
And then like what you said about people like, oh, there's a green screen behind them and like not believing it. Dude, I'll tell you this. You know, don't put it past like. I don't know how much you know about this, but when Pearl Harbor happened, that was one of the worst days in American history. It was one of the biggest attacks on America.
We knew it was happening. We knew it was going to happen.
People suspected that we knew about it. It didn't come out until several years later.
Yeah.
That the proof that Roosevelt knew that there was an impending attack.
And let it happen. We let it happen, man.
And the reason why we let it happen is because behind Congress's back, and without other countries knowing, because Britain was getting decimated by Germany and France and everywhere else.
Yep.
Because of the war that was happening. They were sending supplies. So British ships and American ships would meet up halfway in the middle of the ocean somewhere and transfer supplies to each other.
And fucking U-boats were killing people. Like U-boats were taking out our boats and theirs, you know?
It was violating whatever out of the war.
Yep.
Because technically in America, you cannot go to war unless Congress declares war.
Yep.
So all that changed after 9/11 with George Bush. Now we've just been in a protracted war with whoever the fuck.
Well, that's a catch. They even made a bolder statement. They pulled off the whole Pearl Harbor attack because Japan was getting ready to bomb us. We knew it was going to happen. We let it happen. And then they pulled off an even bolder move by just totally faking the Gulf of Tonkin incident that led us into Vietnam.
Yeah, well, and going back to Pearl Harbor, so we were illegally giving them those supplies. They knew the attack was going to happen. This is how they manipulate the American people. They allowed the attack to happen. People wanted to go to war. Congress responded, declared war.
Yep.
And then the Gulf of Tonkin. My friend Brad, his dad, was was in Vietnam, and he even said that the Gulf of Tonkin was bullshit, but they used that to go to war and to start that conflict in the first place.
Yeah, never happened. You know? Never happened. It didn't come out.
9/11.
Oh God! Let's not get started on 9/11, man. I mean, come on. All you got to look at is Building 7. All you got to look at is Building 7.
I'm not even going to talk about any of that.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to talk about any of that.
You want to talk about 9/11? Building 7.
No, I don't. I just want to mention that it happened, and after it happened, we've been in wars ever since.
Yep.
A lot of these things, for whatever reason, why they happen specifically putting us in a position to where we're at war. And, Eisenhower warned us of the military-industrial complex and its power and private industry and everything else.
So did Kennedy, like a week. Kennedy did, he warned us about it, 2 weeks before he was murdered?
Yep, and then he told us about it, and then he got whacked. And, an even creepier thing is Ben Affleck made a movie about this, but this was a true story. So Bill Clinton had declassified some documents about a mission that the CIA did, and Ben Affleck made a movie about it called Argo.
Yep.
But there were some Americans that were being held captive in Iran, and the CIA made a make-believe movie production company, sent them on location to Iran to pretend to be filming a movie, and utilized actual actors and stuff at the time to draw attention to the area. Meanwhile, these operatives were supposed to go off and rescue these captives. So not only have the government lied to us to go to war, hid information from us to go to war, but they've also used Hollywood as a means of doing covert clandestine operations.
Well, a similar thing happened with the movie Zero Dark 30, if I'm not mistaken. Zero Dark 30, the whole Navy SEAL movie. They released that claiming that it was the Navy SEALs shouldn't have talked and all that craziness, and turns out it was totally different than what actually was in the movie, even though the CIA claimed that it was identical to what actually happened. Zero Dark 30.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. I haven't actually seen the movie, and I'm not sure about that conspiracy.
Yeah, it made news for a while. They claimed that the stuff in the movie was what actually happened in real life, and the Navy SEALs that came out anonymously to tell them what was going on and for them to make the movie. They claimed that was what really happened, but around the same time, it wasn't it was under a year later that for some reason everybody that was involved with the Bin Laden raid just magically died on a helicopter crash, which is odd enough considering that, hey, we just captured the most wanted fugitive in American history and we threw him in the ocean and didn't take a picture of his body.
Well, that's not the only time that that's happened either. That's happened on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
Where
he's in the Bahamas somewhere, man. He's living good. Bill Osmond was his name in the CIA.
Bill Osmond.
Yeah, Bill Osmond.
That wasn't his real name. That was his code name for the CIA. Was Bill Osmond. But he may have died through natural causes. You know, he may have died already. He was on dialysis and stuff. He was sick.
Yeah, they claim he died just a couple years after the whole 9/11 thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things about that are kind of fishy. Maybe he died, maybe he didn't. J Spot J just brought up a good thing in the chat where he said Hitler didn't die. He lived to his 60s and died in Argentina. You know, they never actually, like, when you look at the pictures that were published back then of the bodies of Hitler and Eva Braun, or at least with Hitler, there's a lot of people who've been saying, well-educated, reputable people, who have been saying for a long time that is not Hitler, that was a body double.
He had like 6 body doubles or more. And you got to remember, the ones that like took the picture was the Soviets. The Soviets took the picture. The Soviets claimed they found his body. And at the time, you got to remember where the Soviets like relied on all this. This was like directly almost before the beginning of the Cold War. I mean, I truly believe, as far as the whole Hitler conspiracy goes, I believe the Nazis won the war. I mean, we had Project Paperclip. They come over here. I'm not saying Hitler had anything to do with it, but maybe he did, and he most likely may have if he did survive the war. I don't know. But nonetheless, I mean, we brought well over a couple thousand Nazi scientists. I used to think it was only like within the teens. No, it's a couple fucking thousand. Bring them over here. We got some of them. The Soviets got some of them. And that's the reason we didn't go into World War III during the Cold War, is because they knew each other's technology, and it was just this deranged fight between two powers doing everything they can to show their power without showing their power, if that makes sense. I mean, we live in a world of shadows, man. Like, you know as well as I know, this is what always makes me fall back on, I don't know. I mean, the shit that I have seen, the shit that I've experienced, that's all that I know, and that's all that I'm aware of. But at the same time, I don't even know what the fuck it was that I've seen. I don't even know what the fuck it was I've experienced. All I know is...
There's just too many weird coincidences out there. Like, for example, just to take it back to politics for a second.
Coincidence.
You got Seth Rich, okay, and a couple of other people that were Bernie Sanders supporters working at the DNC.
Yep.
That leaking information to Julian Assange at WikiLeaks, okay, about Hillary Clinton and how she was helping to fund the DNC, and how they had this whole collusion happening to essentially squander or scuttle Bernie Sanders' campaign, and blah, 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 blah. Because all the polls showed at the time that if Trump won the Republican, whatever, convention, that if Bernie Sanders ran against Trump, that easily Bernie Sanders would win.
Oh, yeah,
that Hillary
was
Clinton was not polling well.
Yeah,
she was not polling well against Trump.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. They threw Bernie Sanders out there during that election to just gather all of these I want to call them crazy people, out of social justice warriors and different factions, they wanted to pull them together because at the time they weren't going to vote for Hillary, but they would have voted for Hillary over Trump. But at the same time, they were just not going to vote. So there's Bernie Sanders.
Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were the most historically disliked presidential candidates in the history of the United States. No one wanted to vote for either one. That's what shows a flaw in our democracy.
Yeah.
No one was expecting Bernie Sanders' campaign to take off like that. I think it was like
I don't believe that.
No, hold on, let me finish.
Oh, go ahead.
10 to 15% of Bernie Sanders supporters ended up voting for Donald Trump because they were so against electing Hillary Clinton. That's how much they hated Hillary Clinton. And so basically, whether conservatives or Republicans want to believe it or not, or Donald Trump supporters want to believe it or not, Bernie Sanders supporters helped elect Donald Trump because they voted against Hillary Clinton. They just did not want her to win. And here's what's even crazier. So there's a two points I'm going to make here that are probably going to blow your mind. So Seth Rich and a couple of these people that worked at the DNC that were vocal Bernie Sanders supporters, they were leaking information to WikiLeaks about how Hillary Clinton was basically controlling the election.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Seth Rich ends up dead. He's shot outside of his house at 4:00 in the morning.
Suicide, man. That was suicide. It was a
robbery. They said it was a robbery gone wrong, but they didn't take any of his personal belongings. They didn't take anything. Then, over the course of however much period of time, three other people that were connected to the DNC and were found dead, killed very much the same way. So there was a conspiracy out there that Hillary was having people whacked. Okay, maybe she did, maybe she didn't. I don't know. But the last point that I'm going to make about this is that there's a video during the election of a girl who was working at a California booth, where they tally the votes and stuff. And there's two types of ballots. There's a provisional ballot and a crossover ballot for people who are not of a particular party that are voting for a different party. So Bernie Sanders was a registered independent caucusing with the Democrats using their infrastructure to run for president.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people who were either first-time voters that didn't know the process, or they were registered independents that were voting Democrat and all these different things. And they were required to fill out a crossover ballot so that they could vote for Bernie Sanders during the primaries, that their votes would be counted. But there was a woman who made a video that said that she was being told by several people at the toll booth or whatever, and this was happening across the country. Multiple people reported this. She was being told by the people that work there that if anybody comes in that are not registered Democrats, that are wanting to vote for a Democrat, if they don't specifically ask for a crossover ballot, give them a provisional ballot. Provisional ballots are for testing purposes and are not officially counted in presidential elections. So apparently Hillary Clinton had told all these different places that if they don't specifically ask for a crossover ballot, give them a provisional one so that the Bernie votes that would not count. He would lose a big percentage of the people that would vote for him because those type of ballots aren't counted.
Well, no, that's the catch with Bernie, man. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong in any shape, form, or fashion. The thing is about Bernie is, I swear, I feel as if he was a puppet for the Hillary campaign. Well, I'm not going to say Hillary campaign. I say that wrong. For the Democratic general agenda. And Donald Trump, I mean, he was pretty well the only one there. Well, the reason I say that is because you got to, like, Bernie Sanders, he pulled out at the last minute. He told everybody that he was pulling out of the election. and he wouldn't be involved in none of this. When
No,
election day came,
that's not true. He lost the primary to Hillary Clinton.
But that's the catch. When election day came, you could still vote for him. He was still on the ballot. And
But the voters
I can
didn't
vouch
know
for that. Yeah, exactly. But tell me that he did not know that. Tell me he did not know that. Tell me he did not know he was not on the ballot.
No, he knew that. There's actually a video of him. He knew that, and his wife knew that. So when he came out,
he knew
and
that.
joined
He
Hillary
knew that.
Clinton,
Yeah, of course he knew that.
He said, I'm with Hillary Clinton. Bernie Sanders didn't want to do that, and he was very clear about that.
He was
just
clear.
Didn't want
he didn't want to do it. He wanted people to vote for him. You could look at him and tell.
Well, the only reason he did that is because he didn't want Donald Trump to win, and because Hillary won the primary, he thought that the Democratic voters were just going to vote for her anyway. And one of his speeches, where he's showing support for Hillary Clinton, his wife whispers something in his ear, but Bernie's mic is still on.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
She goes, they can still vote for you. And then he goes, but they don't know that.
Yep.
He had given up by that point.
About. That's the scary part about all this, man. Is I can't, like, I feel as if, I'm not saying he was a puppet. Well, I think I may have said it before, but I didn't mean it. He's not a puppet for...
He definitely wasn't a puppet.
For her, anyway. But
he's not a puppet for the Democrats either.
No, that's not what I was going to say. He is a puppet for the bigger agenda. It's to get the people involved in voting that don't give a shit. And you got to remember, nowadays, within the past 15 years, we have a total separation. I'm not. I was going to say church and state, and that's totally wrong. We have a separation of reality and real. I feel as if like I'm a registered independent, and I'm proud to be an independent. And the reason I'm proud to be an independent is because I'm not a Republican in any shape, form, or fashion, and I'm definitely not a Democrat either. But at the same time, I did vote. And I will say, when I voted, I'm not going to lie, I did vote for Trump. I did. I voted for Trump. I'm not going to lie about that. I mean, I voted for Trump when the election came down.
Until somebody proves otherwise, we have a democracy, and you participated. Don't ever be ashamed of who you voted for. If people disagree with who you voted for, they disagree. You know, that's the beauty of a democracy.
That's the catch.
Is that you have the right to do that.
Yeah, exactly. That we have the right to do that. But that is the catch nowadays
I disagree
that people
with
don't
you.
realize.
I don't like Trump, but
no,
I
like your
be
right
honest,
to vote
man.
for him. Dude, be honest, I didn't like Trump either. The only reason I voted for Trump, and I'll tell you why I voted for Trump. The reason I voted for Trump is because it was, at the time, I wasn't going to vote for Hillary. And I honestly...
Most people just didn't want her in the White House. They didn't care who it was. They just didn't want it to be her.
Well, I didn't give a shit whether it was her or not. But her on the end, I always fall back on Podesta emails. And I know that people want to say, oh, Russia hacked the emails and they released the shit. But you're right, they did. They hacked it, they released it. But it was his emails. And if you look at the FBI database, it says enough to make you question what the hell is going on with what the hell he was saying. I'm a little drunk right now, so I want to apologize for that.
No,
but,
I mean, you're making sense to me. You know, the thing to remember, I want to leave you with this because I feel like I can change your mind.
Oh, you're going to leave me
this.
right after I fucking say I'm drunk right now and going to make a point that I don't even know what the fuck the point is.
No. I'm not going to leave. I'm just saying I'll leave you with this point for what we're talking about right now. So, Bernie Sanders, for anybody out there that thinks that he's some sort of Democratic tool being manipulated by the...
He wasn't as far as it goes.
He was to the Democratic Party what Trump was to the Republican Party. The Republican Party were, if you remember, they were so against Trump until it looked like he was going to win.
So
that's
was the Democrats,
only time that they backed him.
No.
And the
That's a
Democrats
catch. I don't
were all
understand,
about Hillary.
Man.
The Democrats were all about Hillary. Okay, they did not support Bernie. Nothing about Bernie's campaign was supported by the Democrats.
Don't you fucking
Bernie
say
wanted,
that. You're wrong on that one. You're wrong on that one.
No.
I'm not going to say they were not. I will never agree with the fact that you said that they're all against the Democrats. The only people I knew that were for Bernie were Democrats. You had a few Republicans here and there. You did. You're not wrong on that one. But it was two separate levels of Democrat. You had the socialists and you had the Democrats.
There are. And that's a word that I wish Bernie Sanders never used in his campaign.
Socialist.
His belief system is when he talks about socialism, what he's talking about is he's talking about a European form of socialism. No,
all he had to do was say if he said National Socialism, the world would have went for it. No, the world would have went for it.
We have to look at facts. And he made a mistake by saying democratic socialist because people have a bad connotation with the word socialism for obvious reasons. A lot of the countries that tried to implement it failed really bad.
They would have went for it, though. I swear.
There are countries who implemented it very well. There are countries who implemented it very well and have been hugely successful. Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, Germany, all these countries that are world powers.
Nazi would have been alright if they hadn't decided to continue on with fucking Poland and everybody.
Nazism
they didn't want to take over the fucking world.
It's totally separate. What Bernie Sanders wanted, okay, and this is why the Democrats hated Bernie Sanders, the Democratic establishment hated Bernie Sanders, because he wanted money out of politics, okay? How does most of the Democratic and Republican Party get their campaign money? From donors, rich donors, corporations, companies, whatever. Bernie Sanders said, I don't want presidential candidates being paid by private corporations because when they get in office, they're not going to make decisions that benefit the American people. They're going to make decisions that benefit the private companies that donated to their campaigns.
Dude,
Bernie Sanders wanted to pull troops out of all these different countries and reduce our military spending so that he could pay for health care and education. Okay, because there's a lot of people who, they need help.
We're legitimately talking about, like, we are talking about a government that Americans don't even begin to understand.
Bernie Sanders wanted a government that works for the American people, not private interest in the top 1%.
No, he did.
And I think that's a commendable thing.
It is. I agree with you. But I can't help but believe that after the whole sellout, which you don't call it a sellout, I call it a sellout. when he refused to tell people you could vote for him, he was just like, yeah, vote for Hillary. It was a sellout.
He stood by Hillary Clinton at the end, who her policies were in complete opposition to his own. It was the weakest moment he showed in his entire campaign, and it pissed me off to see it.
Nobody noticed it. That was the catch. The reason people went with Trump is he was America. That was straight it. It was America versus Hillary's liberal. And America right now is not going to go for that. But I can't help but feel this is all a part of the same agenda that we've been talking about all night. It's all a piece by piece. It's a puzzle piece. They're not going to pull anybody in it overnight. We're just not going to see this shit happen. They got to change people. They have, because a person is different than the rest of the world all at once. And they're going to tell people anything. I mean, I feel as if we're consulting about a soap opera that we shouldn't be consulting about. Like, if we really want to worry about the world, we should worry about what's about to happen. And, well, I'm not even going to say about to happen. What could happen?
You have to worry about your election process in this country,
yeah.
Because the people that are empowered, that are making the decisions, are getting that power from an uninformed, undereducated American system that is putting people in place that aren't. Oh, absolutely. America ranks 158 in the world in terms of education. We're one of the lowest countries. Yeah. We are well below any modern Western country in the world in education.
And yet
we have the lowest participation rates when it comes to voters. So
yet we're being controlled by the right.
Dude.
Yeah, we're being controlled by the banks.
Dude, I'm sorry, I got to plug up my headset. I'm sorry about that.
Alright. I swear to God, man, this is a game to me. This is a game. I feel as if that we are being controlled by people that we don't see, that we don't hear. I mean, we watch the news. We're talking about the shit that we're talking about right now. It's because we the American people
gave the banks, okay, the puppets that they pay to pretend that they do things for us.
We, the American people, believe what the fuck we want to believe. And that is something...
That's
we
not
do.
True.
We do. We do.
Only a few of us, like you, believe what you want to believe.
No. I'm not part of this. I'm throwing this out there. No, you're right. They believe what they're told. That's the catch. Americans believe what they want to believe. I don't believe none of the shit, man. When I watch the news, I feel as if I'm watching a goddamn soap opera. I don't believe none of it. I don't... Dude, the only thing that makes me question any fucking thing in my reality, and I shouldn't even... I want to close my stream for this. No, I'm not. I'll say it live. The only fucking thing that makes me question anything in this reality is something that I don't even know is fucking reality. I don't know what the fuck it is, but shit happens. But when you see something that as big as a fucking I don't know, an aircraft carrier fucking floating the fucking... I can't say it. I can't... If you see something that is beyond your comprehension, and you see it face to face, and you don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know what the fuck it is. I'll never know what it is. I'll just know the damn thing was there.
Yeah.
That's enough for
experiences
me.
like that.
That's enough for me to say that it doesn't matter what the fuck they say on TV. It doesn't matter what the fuck that other people want to say between each other. It doesn't matter what I believe compared to what other people believe. It doesn't matter what people want to believe what I believe. All I know is I saw some shit that no fucking government or person claims exists. But I've seen it. It's there. It's there. I fucking saw the shit. I saw it. It's there. It's there. And that to me is enough for me to say I'll believe nothing, and I'll accept everything. Or no, I'll accept everything and believe nothing. I don't know. I'll just say I don't know. I don't know. When you like I post or I'll say all these conspiracies based off of my thoughts. My beliefs don't have a cross in it. I mean, I'll just throw my line out there with beliefs. Like with 9/11, for instance, I'm not going to go into detail about it, but I will say, Building 7 alone is enough for me to question everything. But nonetheless, that's based off of videos, evidence, news reports. It's nothing I saw in person. I didn't see it with my own, like, 2 eyes, my own. But I've seen something that I'll never be able to explain. I mean, I could sit here and attempt to explain it all day and all night. And that's all I really know I can say. I mean, I could go all day long, but it's, in my mind, it's not worth it. It's like I think about the people that could be listening to this, who may listen to Cobra. I mean, why? I mean, I don't know what it was. I mean, I'll tell people that, but just the description is enough for me to question everything. If I wanted to talk about Bernie Sanders, if I wanted to talk about Hillary Clinton, I could continue this conversation all night long, and I could do my best.
I shouldn't have went down that path. I mean, that's already dead and gone anyway. I shouldn't even have went down that road. But
no, you're all right, man. You're all right, man. I'm cool.
It's just something that I still think about it to this day, because just things don't add up, you know.
No, it don't.
You know,
None of it adds up. It's a game.
I wasn't trying to go down that path.
No, dude. I'm content with talking about it. I just don't want to. I don't want to make myself any weirder than I already am, and it's some pretty weird shit. But
no, it's part of what people enjoy, man. Is, you know, the weirdness.
It is, but I don't. This is one of the few things that I don't care for other people's opinions. It's the one thing that, I mean, it will anger me to hear it, and I just don't want to hear it, because, I mean, I don't know. I'll just say I don't know, but I know something I don't know what that something is, but I know something. What that something might be, I may never know. I probably will never know. I can guess all damn day and all damn night long, but it's just something that maybe I'm not meant to know. But as far as everything else goes, it's just something that, it's a path that be careful what you wish for. And I don't say this to you, but be careful what you wish for, because if you look hard enough, you'll find it. Most people say be careful what you wish for. You might just get it. I say be careful what you wish for, because you might find it and you might regret it. Well, you probably won't. You won't believe it anyway. Not
I don't know,
you.
man. I've gone dilly-dallying around and been worried about some of the things I've seen. So, I try to once you start going down it, man, it's like
It's a whole
you get hyper paranoid. You can't trust anything anymore. Like, things just get weird. You don't know who's recording you, who's turning you in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole. My problem is, I don't know. I went along with it for years. I went along with this for years. I didn't even know I was going along with anything as far as that goes. I just figured it was the same thing to everybody else. But, I need to close this room. I need to shut up. No, I'm saying enough. No, I'm saying enough. I'm saying enough for what I'm needing to say. I don't need to get in trouble again. I've already been in trouble before. I don't need to do it again.